Hi everyone.
Welcome back, or maybe you guys should be welcoming us back because we haven't been on for a while. So, today we're going to talk about moving abroad, moving to Mexico, and with a family if you have kids, and if you're thinking about putting them in a school here. We're going to go over all of your options, kind of what to expect and what not to expect, and just be open-minded.
So as you know, we started out this whole journey. We were homeschooling. We did that for about 2.5, almost 3 years, from the beginning of COVID or just before COVID. And then we recently put TJ back in school. And for us, homeschooling afforded us the ability to travel like we did in the last 2 years in our RV, and to continue to travel like we moved here now in Mexico. So we recently decided to put TJ in school, and our reason for doing that was strictly because we wanted him to focus on learning the language.
Yep. So it was perfect for us doing this now is because with us doing the home build, we're sitting still for a bit. So this is a perfect time to take advantage of throwing ourselves into the community and have TJ out there with all the other kids. So finding friends for your kids in a new country, new place, best thing for us for what we've been doing is Facebook. You can find any type of group that you're looking for most likely in the area. So we met a lot of expat families that way. There's camps during the summer. There's a lot of activities that we're just now starting to dip our toes in, see if TJ's interested in doing anything else, which is new to us because we don't usually do extra activities outside of him being in school now. So he's tried karate, he's tried taekwondo, but we hear there's swimming, there's tennis, there's dance, there's pretty much anything your kid is interested in, you can find. And a cool thing is, we're coming from the US, prices are crazy for any type of club activity or extra activity outside of school. So here it's very reasonable, pleasantly surprised. So now it just opens more doors for us and for TJ, hopefully for us again to be more into the community and not just finding people in places that we're comfortable because they speak English.
So I will interject and say that with Facebook, what we've noticed that the majority of the people or families that we're meeting, the kids that TJ gets to interact with, those tend to be more expats. However, if your interest, like ours is as well, is to meet locals, then you want to try other places, not necessarily Facebook. So you want to try the, like we said, going, maybe if your child is interested in dance classes, going there, and then there may be local kids that go there, or karate, soccer, or something of the sort. In our experience, that's where we've found that you can meet the locals and not necessarily gringos. But if that's your intent is to stay strictly in the gringo community, then sure. But if you want to venture out, then the all Facebook places are the places we have found that you can find them.
So another thing to keep in mind if you are looking for the school route, look into the bigger areas, bigger cities are going to have more options for you and what's best for your family. But here in La Paz, where we are, it's a bigger city, we found that anything you can think of, you can find.
So as you know, we are building our home in Todos Santos, Cerritos Hills to be more specific. And that's where we're going to be living once we're done. However, the options for schooling is very limited there, all right? So just like a handful of schools that you can pick from. And then obviously, like any parent's gonna do, you're gonna try to find something that you think is gonna vibe well with your child. We just felt like there were a lot more options here in La Paz. So to sum it up real quick, if you move into a small community, like Kelly has a friend that lives in Los Barriles, which is probably about 45 minutes away from where we are. And there are no options except for the public school system. So she has to go there. So depending on where you go, your options are going to be limited. Here in La Paz, from the research Kelly has done, there's 200 or 300 schools that you can pick from. So there are many, whether it's public or private schools. So that's something to keep in mind if you're thinking about moving to Mexico, is what are the options for school, and don't do like we did initially, which is we fell in love with an area and then we bought land there, completely negating the fact that, hey, when it comes to school, if we wanted to do that, what are options going to be?
Another thing we're comparing to is in the US, from where we're coming from, private schools are very expensive. We wouldn't be able to afford sending TJ.
And for affordability, that's a touchy subject when you're making a video.
Yeah.
It's affordable for us. I don't know, we don't know what everyone's budget is, but if we compare what you pay here or what we're paying here compared to what we'd be paying in the States, our comparison to affordability is based on what we're accustomed to back in the States.
Well, once we got here, knew we wanted TJ to learn, just because of his age. He's gonna pick it up really quick. We found a tutor that came to our house 3 days a week. So basically since we got here in June, for 3 months straight, 3 days a week, he had his private tutor that came to our house. She was wonderful. He learned so much. On top of that, he was doing the Duolingo app that we've mentioned multiple times. So we did that, preparing him for school, and I think it helped tremendously to do that, just to get him, hopefully one step ahead or one step closer to the goal.
So as far as the tutor is concerned, she came to our house where we lived at. By the way, we finally moved into our new apartment. We could not wait, all right? But she would come to our apartment and she would help TJ 3 days a week. And as Kelly mentioned before, that was amazing about the information that she gave to him. If you're moving to this area, La Paz specifically, and you're looking for a tutor, we would gladly recommend her to you. Just drop us a note down there. And let's break in the video right now and say, hey, thanks for watching. If you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. Share the video with your friends, and don't forget to
ring that bell. When finding a school, it can be overwhelming. You can look on GPS and see what's around you, but the best way to do it, especially when you don't know a lot of Spanish, so you just show up. So we would walk our neighborhoods of our last place. We would just walk around, and then we're like, hey, there's a school, looks nice, let's talk to them. So we'd always talk to people. We did 5 or 6 schools.
We did a few, yeah.
And we asked around too from other people that we met, their experiences with certain schools. So
expectations when it comes to school. You're in Mexico, you're not wherever you're from. And we're having to learn and relearn what expectations should be here in Mexico. So a part of our priority with finding a school was we needed a school that was close to us so we could walk to school in the mornings to drop TJ off. Now, we don't walk every morning. I think we've been driving more than we've been walking. So we probably could have gone out a little bit further, but nonetheless, we're still within walking distance to where school is. We visited, as Kelly mentioned, several schools, and each of those schools was supposed to get back to us to give us information. I don't think any, zero, got back to us. But it's just how they are. If you're interested in going to the school, I guess, hey, you know what? Just keep going, and you'll get information. Because they were friendly. They gave us the information we were looking for, but they did say they're going to call us back, and not one got back to us. But we do like the school that he's going to. As a matter of fact, we love the school he's going to. The teachers are awesome. They're out there every morning to greet all the kids, to greet TJ.
And we hear a lot of great things about it.
Yeah, so we still would recommend them. We're just saying, communication is different. And then when it comes to what you should do each day and everything else, that's another subject.
Yeah, so we try to grill TJ every day. Like, hey, what did you do? Who did you play with at recess? How was your lunch? I make his lunch every day. But just to try to get little bits out of him, you have to do one question at a time, each block. Okay, morning, what did you do? Did you do math today? Because we have no idea what goes on.
And if you ask TJ, you know what he'll tell you? I have no idea what goes on. And if we haven't mentioned this before, the school that he goes to, it is all Spanish all day, except for 1 hour each day. And anyway, he'll tell you, I don't know what. We know he's learning because he corrects us nonstop, and some of the words I'm
getting excited. But yeah, some of the words like that we're learning right now in our Duolingo or Tamar's, like he's doing like stuff on YouTube, like extra, like he's doing way more than me, I'll say that. But TJ will be like, no, it's this way. But we know he hasn't got that far in Duolingo, and he has not heard it from his stuff he's been watching. So that makes us feel good. And you know, people have told us too, don't expect your child to come home in the first week, the first month, and start, you know, rambling off sentences. It's going to be little pieces that we're not really going to see. TJ's probably not realizing he's picking this up until he needs to correct mom and dad. That's when we know.
I think she just threw that one out at me just now because that's my expectation. Like, bro, hey, I've been sending you for 2 weeks now. You need to write me a book, you know, read this completely in Spanish. Well, he can read it in Spanish. But just to make up a sentence in Spanish, my expectations are off.
So grade level, since we were homeschooling, you know, you don't go, they tell you, and it's so true, you don't go off his age, what he should be doing. You go off, you know, his capability, what he's understanding, what he's not, what you need to spend more time on, blah, 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 blah. So he was doing 4th grade curriculum. However, in the school world, public school world, his age should be 3rd grade, and because he's struggling with 4th grade math that we were doing this summer, we thought it was best to put him in 3rd grade, or just a grade below what he was doing with us, so that he can focus more on his Spanish and feel comfortable when he's doing math. So like maybe that's something like give him like some confidence. Hey, I know how to do this math, you know, like he feels good part of the day if he's feeling bad or struggling that doesn't know what's going on otherwise. So
if you homeschool, you have an idea of, you know, what your kid needs and what you need to do, because it's for the most part self-paced, you know, so it's not curriculum paced. But and that goes into the types of schools that are available. There are some that are more structured than some. Some that are, you know, that allows you to hug the tree more. You know, Kelly's type of school, not mine. But hey, it's okay.
Not gonna lie, I was scoping out that school, so I'm like, they're speaking Spanish. That's our main goal.
And
hugging trees and singing Spanish to the trees. Spanish singing.
So, and then there's some that are more encompassing of all the students, and they all flow along at the same. And then there's some that is more structured, kind of like the American schools are. I'm not gonna say the public schools aren't as good as the private schools. We did not go with that option strictly because we did not. TJ coming out of a homeschool environment, it would have been easier for him to go into a private school, and the type of private school we chose because it was kind of similar to our style of schooling that he was accustomed to, and that's why we went with ours. So that's something else that maybe would be beneficial if you take into consideration.
Yeah, he's not getting put in for his age and grade. He's getting put in for like his ability.
What he does.
Yeah. So. So we have learned recently that private schools, there's a fee. They tell you that, okay, their tuition is this amount each month. I guess we were supposed to just know that. It's common in Mexico, so that's probably why it didn't come up. But you pay for every month. So you pay for the months that your child is not there. When there's no school in session for like the summer break, I think they get like a month off. You're paying for that month. All the school started end of August. You have like 1 day in August. So that threw us off. And then that we paid the full tuition. We thought like for that 1 day, but it was really for the whole month. So lesson learned. If you're going to stay at that school, then you pay that summer month that your child's not there, which makes sense because the teacher's getting paid. So the teacher to student ratio, we are not 100% because getting this all out of TJ, but it sounds like there's always at least 2 teachers in there for about 20 kids, and sometimes a third. Again, it just depends on where your kids are going. which I think is pretty good because in the States you get one teacher for I think about that many. TJ's been in school about 3 weeks now. He's had a few days off here and there because of the hurricane and everything else. But he wakes up pleasant. He's excited to go to school. When we pick him up, he's really excited. It's good. I feel good about it. I don't feel bad, or I really was like mentally preparing myself because, you know, like us talking about it, you know, the last month before we, you know, once we were for sure we were doing it, we signed him up. I was talking about it every day to him and he wasn't so sure. He's like, I'm not so sure about this. And, you know, he's like, you know me, Mom. I'm not so sure about this and everything else. So I'm like mentally preparing myself to have a really, you know, rough weeks, month, and it's been good. I'm really happy, pleasantly surprised.
So the joke in the house is, we know which side of the bed TJ woke up on when he gets up. If he wakes up in a really good mood, which is most times,
yeah,
he woke up on the white side. But all of a sudden, if he wakes up grumpy one morning, somehow it happens to be my side. Now, I don't know how that works out. I'm just saying, I think I'm getting targeted, all right?
So far, knock on wood, he has not had homework. I'm sure the schools are all different everywhere, but Mom and Dad aren't mad about that, okay? Because then we're like, how are we gonna help him? Is we Google Translate this whole page, like, all right, this is what you're supposed to do, but we probably just jinxed it. We're getting homework this week.
So, when it comes to why, and I know we said before we want him to learn the language. Here's the other part. More than learning the language, which is very important, I feel for my child whenever we go to the park. We feel for our child whenever we go to the park. Even last night, we went for a walk at the Malacana. We see him at the park, and he's a sweet kid, like everybody's kid. You know, they're sweet. And I see TJ trying to talk to the other kids, and you know, he'll go up there and you say, you know, ¿quieres jugar? Or yo habla español? No, actually it'll be no. Tú hablas español. Do you speak English?
But you're saying in Spanish though. Español.
Hey, look, I am not good at this, all right? So, you know what I'm trying to say. Actually, I think they don't. Tú hablas inglés. There you go.
Yeah.
So
Do you speak English?
Yeah, so he'll go up there and he'll say it. And, but I think those are the only things. So if the kid says no, and most of the parks that we've gone to, it's for the most part predominantly locals. So if the kids say no, then TJ kind of gets back in his little shell and he walks away or something of the sort. And I won't lie to you, I would love to see him go to the park and have a ton of friends and, you know, play tag and do all the kids do, because what parent doesn't want their kids to do that? That's what I want to see. Right now, we're not seeing that. So I will be honest and say it does, you know, play on me that I don't see him having the best time when we go to the parks and stuff like that. But I also know that it's coming. We just have to get to that point. So that was the other big push, and the other big reason why we wanted to put him in school is because I want to see him enjoy everyone. I just don't want him to go to the park and play with kids that speak English. That's not right. I want him to be able to say something and just have a good time with whoever he's around. So that was the other big push, is learning the language, but also being able to meet other kids, to play with other kids, make friends. That's what kids do in general. So.
And just seeing other cultures. I mean, he still sometimes I don't think he understands the different cultures, you know, just different stuff. So us being able, you know, to make local friends, you know, that are from here just means so much more. I think that he'll get to see a different way of life and not just us. So
him going to school is time spent with a child who's raised differently than he is, and being able to see that and also appreciate that and know that, you know what, we're all different, but at the same point, we're all one. And that's what I think sending him to school affords him.
And I think that's one of my biggest things that I want to keep traveling to. I'm going off subject and stuff.
No, you're fine.
Is to see all the different cultures and how people all over the world live differently than us from the US, you know? Like, we got to take him to Vietnam, Thailand, all these places, but now I feel like, man, I'm glad we took him, but I feel like now he would see more stuff now that he's older. He'd like, okay, that's different than what I'm used to, or because now he's noticing a lot of stuff here in Mexico, like, wow, these sidewalks are not safe. You know, like, wow, watch out for that hole right there in the ground. Like, you know, he's more observant, I think, now. And he you know, just little stuff that he picks up here and there. So it makes me want to keep showing him new places and give him more opportunities to just open, you know, his little mind. So that's it for today. We hope you enjoyed the video. Hopefully you found it helpful and you enjoyed our faces.
Mine too? Maybe just hers. That's okay.
It's all right.
I'm all right. Yeah. Hey, see you later. Hasta luego.
Bye.
Don't forget to like and subscribe and comment down below.